For some reason, and I don't know why, even if you can solve linear equations, some people still struggle with rearranging equations. But the most important thing to remember is that the strategy does not change. The idea is the same. You're still trying to make one variable the subject of an equation. So what I like to do, if you remember, is I use SAMDIB. So when you're working out an equation, you use BIDMAS. So SAMDIB is just BIDMAS backwards, and it tells the order that we need to cancel things from the side. So in this case, in example 1, we are trying to get R by itself. So I look at it. Is there a subtraction? No. Is there an addition? No. Is there a multiplication? Yes. This is being multiplied and this is being multiplied. So what you could do is you could divide them both at the same time. However, I'm going to do one step at a time. So I'm going to get rid of the H first. So what we do to cancel is I divide by H. But remember, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So I'm left with V over H equals pi R squared. So now, actually, I'm just going to change that color. V over H equals pi R squared. So now what I'm going to do is I'll divide both sides by pi. So like I said, you could have done that both in the one step, but I just wanted to show you each different step. So now I've got V over pi H equals R squared. So finally, the opposite or the inverse of squaring something is to take the square root. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. Now remember, and this is a common mistake that people make, it's actually plus or minus the square root. The reason for that, we know that 2 squared is equal to 4, but negative 2 squared is also equal to 4. So that is why we do plus or minus the square root of any number. Oh, it's not R squared, sorry, equals R. So there is my equation that has been rearranged to make R the subject. We'll take a quick look at this second one. This one's always a bit tricky. People aren't sure what to do when the variable is on the bottom. So remember, one of our number one rules in maths is we try and avoid fractions where possible. So the first thing that I would actually do in this case is to multiply both sides by t, which gets t off the bottom of that fraction. So it cancels it from this side. So we're left with t multiplied by mn minus q. Now this is all being multiplied by, which is why I use my brackets, equals PR. This one now is quite simple. To get t by itself, we simply divide both sides by mn minus q. So the trick here was step 1 should always be get your variable off the bottom of a fraction first. So we're left with t equals PR over mn minus q. So just to recap, if you can solve an equation, you can rearrange an equation. Just use SAMDIB. The whole idea is that we're still cancelling terms or values from one side to make one letter the subject. Good luck.